Something from this scene, though, was that I liked the actor that played Wesley. There's a lot of weak links on the male side of the cast. We talk about Tomas, and Tomas was in this very episode. But, like, when your one episode actor is better than some of the actors on the show, it's kind of a bad thing. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? Here to talk about today's Tuesday, February 24th episode, and happy birthday to me. And shout out to the rest of my Pisces people out there. But also happy birthday to Beyond the Gates. They debuted last year on my birthday, and here we are on the first anniversary of the show. Do I wish they would have had a better episode for their first year anniversary? Yes. I'm going to have a big rant today about something. Those of you that watch me enough probably know what it's about. It's about, something I complain about a lot. Two things I complain about a lot with this show. But before I get into today's episode, I do want to say for the, only less than 50% of you that are watching these Beyond the Gates videos are subscribed to the channel. So the 50% of you that are not subscribed, please do subscribe today. I mean, it is my birthday after all. You should subscribe. Maybe we could get to 5,000 on my birthday. It's a long shot, but it is possible. I want to start with the good today because there was still good today. Some things got better by the end, even though the beginning of the episode was a bit of a struggle in general. But I think the big news today comes from Hayley's story once again. Bill came home with flowers for Hayley, and it's the same bouquet as their wedding. And their wedding anniversary is coming up because their wedding was within the first week of the show last year. I'm assuming today was not meant to be the anniversary episode, although it is just the first anniversary. I don't know if the show planned on going all out, but because of the rerun episodes during the holidays so far this year, I wouldn't be surprised if either tomorrow's episode, Thursday's episode, or Friday's episode seems more like an anniversary episode. And if that anniversary episode comes because of Hayley and Bill's anniversary, I can see that. Anyway, Hayley is glad that the cops got the guy, this Wesley Hammer guy, before Joey did. She didn't want Joey to be getting her into more trouble with her and Bill getting involved in crime with Joey. And then, of course, Hayley continued to play the emotional manipulation game with Bill, saying she could have been killed by the mugger. Bill, meanwhile, is just happy that Wesley Hammer is in jail and going to be put away. I did notice that Hayley was wondering if, since Bill was saying he could get Wesley thrown away for a long time, because of the prosecution and because of defense attorneys or whatever, I'm not exactly sure. But Hayley was wondering if Bill had a connection in Lynette's case as well, like he does to the mugger case, to try and get Lynette off. She did try that today. That's what Lynette was trying to get out of Hayley yesterday, as Lynette just continues to try and get more and more out of Hayley. But bad news came for Bill and for Hayley when he got a phone call from Elon that this Wesley Hammer guy was already released and just has to see a judge once a week and be tested for drugs or alcohol or something. But you see, the person that really got Wesley out of jail already is Joey. After hearing from June yesterday, June thinking that this Wesley Sledge, nickname Hammer, is not someone that would hit a woman and mug a woman like that, Joey had this Wesley character brought to him and released early. And Wesley told Joey today that he did not assault anyone. He woke up yesterday with the things in his pocket, and then the next thing he knew, he was handcuffed. Something from this scene, though, was that I liked the actor that played Wesley. There's a lot of weak links on the male side of the cast. We talk about Tomas, and Tomas was in this very episode. And then we have a character like Wesley who seems like he might only be on for one episode, but maybe he will come back around in the future. But like when your one episode actor is better than some of the actors on the show, it's kind of a bad thing in my opinion. All I could think while watching these scenes is that I wish this guy was playing Isaiah. Now, by the end of the episode, I realized that this guy is probably too old to play Isaiah, since Jacob is supposed to be the older brother. He wouldn't fit as Isaiah. But I feel like he would have made a good Isaiah nonetheless. Anyway, the actor that played Wesley was solid. And I liked the Wesley and Joey scenes today. They were my favorite part of the episode. Wesley told Joey the whole story about how he was asleep on the bench, woke up with the items in his pocket. He talked about how his sledgehammer is just a nickname. He would never be capable of hitting a woman. He says people think that just because a man doesn't have an address, he has no morals, and he does have morals. So that was a good nod to homeless people who are out there that, might still be in their right mind and they're just in bad circumstances and still have morals. Joey brought up how June is the one that vouched for Wesley, and Wesley said he doesn't know why those two women identified him. Of course, Joey's wheels are turning in his head trying to figure this all out. Wesley said that the judge wants him to check in weekly, but Joey wants him to leave town and be nowhere near DC again. And then Joey will take care of the loose ends while he is off. I don't know how Joey's supposed to go through with all of this. Like, there still is a criminal justice system throughout all of the states. So, like, even if Wesley goes to a totally different state, he can still be caught, especially if he's going to be homeless. I don't know. There's a little bit of a hole in the storyline for me because Wesley's been on the streets. Clearly, June has known him for a while, but suddenly because Joey can get him off, he's gonna go stay with his sister. Like, why didn't he do this in the first place? But taking that plot hole out of it, I do like the fact that Joey is, on to Hayley and Lynette, and I do want to see how all that plays out, of course. By the end of the episode, Wesley did show up at Orphe Jean's to thank June for getting him off. He wanted to thank her in person. She wanted to get him some pie, but he said he had to go, so he is going to leave town. Kind of disappointed because I feel like he could also be a good new character. The show has had good new characters as of late. And the problem is the good new characters are kind of making a lot of their old characters look really bad and boring. And I do think that is a problem. Now, Samantha and Kat started this episode at Orphe Jean's with June. Kat went to go call Tomas. They were going to meet up later in the episode, and they did meet up later in the episode. Kat wanted to know who Samantha is going to the cotillion with. Kat told them that Vanessa is asking Donnell to do it. June was a little unhappy that it's a Banneker man, an older man. That worried June. Later, Samantha got a text from Vanessa that Donnell said yes. We'll get to Donnell and Vanessa, I guess. And then Samantha and June talked about bullies and talking about, Samantha said she's getting bullied because some people, Francesca, was saying she's not really a Dupree and it isn't good enough for the whole debutante thing. Francesca walked in. We'll get to their scenes. I did enjoy the scenes with Francesca and Samantha today, but I guess we have to talk about Vanessa and Donnell first, and I will get to my rants. Now, obviously, the main point of the scenes today were to get Vanessa to convince Donnell to take Samantha to the cotillion and escort her there. And then Donnell brought up how some of his twin sister's friends are using an escort service to get a date for Deanna and get her out of the house, and, after being all sad about Doug. And it turns out that they're using the whole escort service that Vanessa now runs. Now, here's the thing. There are two main things I usually complain about on this show a lot. One is the storylines that take place off screen. And this is something the show has done more and more over the last 4 months, I would say, I guess. And here we are again, where this Deanna storyline is happening off screen. The second thing that I complain about a lot on this show is the Vanessa character in general. And I feel like both of those things that this show has a weakness with collided today to make for frustration from me. Because if we were seeing this Deanna storyline play out on screen, that she's using Vanessa's escort service, it might actually make me a little more interested in Vanessa. But with what these scenes today with Vanessa proved, like they prove every time Vanessa is on, they just prove that Vanessa is a putrid character. Just a putrid character. Like, there are no redeeming qualities about the Vanessa character, and then I wonder what we as an audience are supposed to get from any of her scenes and any of her storylines. Like, I'm so over Vanessa and Joey as a couple. Joey away from Vanessa works. Joey and Vanessa together are like watching two irredeemable characters together, because they both were involved with that Doug plot that has not come out yet, that we're still waiting to come out, and it has made the Vanessa character a failed character, and I'm going to say it every damn time she is on. I hated the Vanessa scenes today. Vanessa was a hypocrite with Joey not wanting Deanna to go on the date with the escort service that she runs, and then as putrid as a character as Vanessa is, we can't even enjoy the storyline that might be entertaining if Deanna was actually on screen. And it's more frustrating because then we have this Francesca character who was kind of just made out of thin air when she could have been Deanna. And it probably would have been better for more characters on this show. Now, all that being said, I'm not even going to talk about the rest of the Vanessa and Joey shit because who really cares? I don't. But I did like the Francesca and Samantha scenes, even though I think Francesca would have made a better Deanna and maybe would have been tied more to the cast in general. But Francesca makes for a good mean girl. She was talking a lot of shit today. They got into it. She didn't want Samantha to call her Chessie. Only close people to her can call her Chessie. She was giving Samantha shit for how the search for an escort was going. We learned that Francesca is going with Nathan, which was the guy that Samantha used to be interested in before she learned that he was kind of just using her for a notch in his bedpost. And then Francesca kind of got rude to June, saying that Samantha doesn't have home training, but how can someone have home training without a home? And then she looked at June. So she was doing real good with the mean girl shit today. But then Donnell arrived and Francesca learned that he's Samantha's date for the cotillion. Francesca didn't like that very much. I did love when June basically just threw Francesca's to-go bag at Orphegene's at Francesca before she left. So they were good scenes by the end of the episode with the teen scene. And I will say, I do think there's potential for the Samantha and Donnell thing for sure. Last thing, really, really quickly. Kat met up with Tomas. They talked about Hayley making things bad and difficult for Tomas at work. Kat thinks there's a problem between Bill and Hayley and that the problem may not be Tomas. Kat was pushing Tomas to look for another job, but Tomas doesn't want Hayley to push him out. And then they were our cliffhanger today, as if we're really supposed to care about this couple, that Kat wants to move in with Tomas. So we unfortunately left on a very flat note for our anniversary episode today. But there was still a lot of good. Joey away from Vanessa, good. Joey with Vanessa, bad. Vanessa in general, probably the worst thing about the show. But I did like what came of the teen scene or the younger set by the end of the episode too. So that was our anniversary of Beyond the Gates. Even though I don't think it was meant to be the anniversary episode, but maybe it was.